OxFit Podcast, episode 7.
Back at it again with the salty beef, baby.
Salty Beef is back. We're flying solo this month.
I really love it. Shout out to Aunt and everybody. Miss you guys. Love you guys.
Yeah.
But feeling, love having you to myself.
Yeah, it's been cool. We just had 4th of July. We were closed for 2 days here at the gym, which is weird. I feel like I'm here every day, all day. Do you have a good holiday?
I did. I definitely felt guilty almost. I had to change my mindset about being off for those 2 days because I was just sitting there chilling, watching all the Hunger Games movies. And I was like, shouldn't I be doing something? And I was like, no. We work hard, both training and in the gym itself. And I was like, no, take this time, enjoy it. I was glad that you texted me though, because I was like, don't text Savannah while she's on vacation. I was like, I'll miss her though. And then you texted me. Yeah. And I was like, she loves me.
It's definitely hard to realize it's okay not to be on all the time. And I told you, I went to Florida to see my family, super tiny fishing town on the Gulf. And I was prepared to just do my thing, do a little bit of work in the evenings and not totally take a vacation. But I got there and there was no cell reception and no Wi-Fi. So I just had an unplugged 3 days, which was super awesome. Highly recommend if people have never done that. But
I know, I remember you texting me and you were like, I haven't had service this last day and a half. And I was like, dang. Took a page out of your book. I unplugged and came back and I was like, woo, let's go.
Yeah. I think I didn't realize how when you're with the right people, you don't need your phone as a distraction, which then I started thinking, I was like, man, how many people do I know that when I'm with, I'm not on my phone? And it's kind of scary how few that number is.
That's a really good point to make. I have not thought about that till now. And it really does, I think about it and you guys when we're training and when we're out of town doing stuff, never really on my phone. But I got challenged while Aunt was away to not be on my phone while even I'm driving. That's how bad. Yeah, that I'm on my phone.
Yeah. And I'm not one of those people that's I don't need my phone. Don't get me wrong. I'm on that bitch every night before I go to sleep. I don't put it away like I should. But if you're around the right people, I don't even think about it. Khalil and I were just hanging out all weekend. And, it's my best friend, partner, whatever. I don't need it. Like you said, when I'm with you guys at competitions and stuff, I've never even been oh, shit, where's my phone?
Yeah, and I do love that when we do train together as well, no one's on their phone.
Yeah.
We do take some videos sometimes, but it's we're focused on training, even especially when we all work together in this back office. It's we're all working together. No one's on their phone. But it really is so crazy to think that thing's always in my hand.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Yeah. Holiday was fun. I think coming back, you posted something on the nutrition page that I liked about not feeling guilty after a holiday weekend. And I think whenever you do challenge yourself to really take control of your nutrition and your body and all these things, then that leaves a lot of cracks for guilt to creep in when we do things that are outside of our routine. But you can speak on that about
when you set that goal of I'm trying to, whether it's through fitness or nutrition, and then when you have the combination of both, I speak from personal experience that you can really get in your head when you are just trying to relax. And you said it you can't always be on. Yeah. You can't. I'm definitely someone who's a both feet in kind of person. When I decide I'm going to do something, it's boom, I'm going to do it. I'm jumping in that water, not sticking my toe in. And that has in the past been something that I've had to work on, because I will allow myself to get into this mindset of, oh, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And now, oh, well, you're not going to achieve this. You're not going to hit this goal. And then you get, depressed and you lose focus and you're like, well, I messed up already. I'm just going to go ahead and stop.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps to know that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to relax. And, like this past weekend, I ate a lot of sweets. They were absolutely delicious. Then come Monday, I was like kind of thrown off because it wasn't a regular Monday. Tuesday was actually July 4th. But Wednesday I was back in the gym and it was like, okay, had my fun, back on track. Let's do it. Meal prepped, went to the store, got ready. And yeah, I just look back as having gratitude for having to have that time to relax.
Yeah. That's kind of how I look at it too. I mean, I'm the type of person that I have to have the balance because I can only go so hard for so long and then I'll just crack. So I have to have those little moments of, I'm not even going to think about food today. And I ate like an asshole all weekend.
But I bet it was
delicious. My grandma was cooking biscuits every morning, and I was like, yes, I'll have a third biscuit. Thank you. But yeah, like you said, back on track. And I mean, a weekend of doing what you want, spending time with people you love, and not worrying about food and how you're working out and all that is not going to derail your progress. If anything, when you come back, it's just going to motivate you to keep pushing forward.
People really do tend to forget that resting is just as important as sticking to your, your fitness and your nutrition routine. You have to give your body that rest. It's like you said, you can only go hard for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep chipping away. But yeah, great holiday, and now it's back to business. I've seen a lot of things on the internet, which it's funny. It's definitely targeted just because of what I watched, but it was like, all right, holiday was fun. For the next 6 weeks, we're going ghost mode. And it's like, just put your head down and fucking work. And then by Labor Day, it's going to be just a whole new person, which I think is kind of the mindset I have right now. Like, I'm ready to just dial it in and jump into this triathlon that I'm doing for the first time. You did it last year.
I did.
Yeah. And your story leading up to the triathlon is crazy. I know last time we had you on the pod, it was a lot about the OxFit nutrition program and kind of what you do here. But I feel like a lot of people don't really know your story and how you came to be at OxFit and the transformation that's happened with you.
Man, what a time. First, let me start off by saying I'm so excited that you're doing the triathlon this year. Loved having you as a cheerleader last year, but we're doing it together this year, which I'm excited about. But yeah, OxFit, this is my home. I mean, I go home every night, but this is the place that the moment I go to bed and the moment that I wake up that I am excited to be at. But let's start at the beginning. Moved to Atlanta.
Don't do a Lucas story.
Oh, I was gonna kind of. Okay, I won't. So,
long story short,
but this is gonna be really long. But really, long story short, moved to Atlanta. Had been in the gym for a little bit before I had moved. Moved here to Atlanta, but I then had 2 surgeries. So had basically my chest removed, found a nice little tumor over there, and then not even a year later, honestly, a year later, they found another tumor on my back. So then I had back surgery and completely lost my way for about a year. And that was right when I had moved here to Atlanta. Spent plenty of time, been in the service industry my whole life, bartending, serving, and a part of me was like, man, I want not only to be in the gym, but I want to be somewhere where I actually impact people's lives. I know my gift in life is loving on people, and I always got the chance to do that while working in the service industry, but not to the extent that I've always wanted to. And after a while, I was like, all right, I'm going to get back into the gym. Looked for gyms around Atlanta, was looking for that family community feel. I was working out somewhere else, but it was definitely like go at your own pace, do your own thing type of deal. And I remember I was driving to work and I saw people running outside of OxFit East Atlanta. And I was like, oh my God, that's a gym. Because from the outside, it's like super beautiful, huge windows. Unless you get super close, you can't see inside that it's a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked it up when I got to work and I was like, oh, you can drop in for a class. Clicked it, was super excited. I went the next morning, 7 a.m. I met 3 people who are now some of my really good friends, Ben, Dan, and get to the class. The workout was running, box jumps, and snatches. And I was like, oh, I got this. Well, my body was like, you do not have this at all, but we're going to do what we can. Everyone was so supportive and loving and encouraging the entire workout, even though I was the last one to finish every round. It felt so good to be around people like that, and then also to be moving my body. And that is the moment I met Aunt Oxley. He walked in towards the end of the 7 a.m. class, and he introduced himself to me. And I don't know what happened in that moment, but he, we shook hands and he asked me a couple questions about myself. And when I told him, I used to coach and work at another gym and I used to love working out, he was like, we should get coffee. And I was like, well, I don't drink coffee, but I would love for you to come see me at my job and I'll buy you lunch. Mm-hmm. He comes to my job, ends up being a day that we are balls to the wall busy. I don't get the chance to really talk to him. He enjoyed his lunch, which was nice, and we talked for maybe 10 minutes, and then he left, and in my mind, I was like, well, whatever was going to come of that probably isn't going to happen. And later on that evening, he texted me, and he was like, I don't know what it is that we have to do, and I know that it probably won't be as, financially big as what you're doing right now. He was like, but we need you to be part of the OxFit team. And I can't lie when I say that I had been really thinking about making a transition anyway out of the service industry. And I kept focusing on, I want to be in a gym. And then this happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I quit my job that weekend.
Yeah.
I legit quit my job. Started that next week.
I remember when all of that happened, I was a coach at EAV. Mm-hmm. I had gone on vacation because it was right around New Year's.
Yes.
So I was gone for the holiday. And I remember walking into the gym at a 6 or 7 a.m. class, and I just heard this person yelling, come on, baby, you got this. Let's go, girl. I see you. And I'm like, who is here right now? And I turn around, and you're there, and you're like, hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm work here now.
I know. And I do remember meeting you because I was like, oh my God, she hates me.
No, it's all right. That's what everyone thinks whenever I meet them.
And it's okay because then in my mind I was like, probably just being too much right now. So she'll come around.
I came around. But yeah. And flash forward, it's been
almost
a year and 7 months.
Yes.
Close to 2 years. Yeah. And you, I know we poke fun at it, and I wouldn't unless I knew you're okay with it. But when I say you looked...
say it. Just
like
say it.
A completely different person when you joined OxFit. And just in a year and 7 months is not that long. No. But through hard fucking work and all the stuff you did, you just changed tremendously. And it was even from January to September when we did the triathlon. I think of the triathlon as when, and Ant and I talked about this in a previous episode, we saw who you really were. Mm-hmm. Because on paper, you were not ready for that. But you finished and you did amazing. And it was...
I've been telling people getting ready for the triathlon right now. I told them, I was like, I did it last year and did the Olympic. Mm-hmm. Mile swim, 25-mile bike ride, 6-mile run. Mm-hmm. And mind you, couldn't even do a push-up, let alone do a squat of any kind. That was a disaster. In February, March. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I pulled that out my ass at Gulf Shores, mm-hmm. is what I keep telling everybody. If I could do it, and they look at me and they're like, well, you're a badass. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I was 125 pounds of literally not skin and bones, but I looked like, I'm going to say it, I looked like a crackhead. Probably shouldn't say that, but you guys do make fun of me for that. And it's hilarious because I was so small. Mm-hmm. And, you know, what it really came down to was Aunt and I sat down and set goals. You know, we have our goal sessions, and I look forward to those every few months that we set those. And in that moment that we set the goal of, you know, doing that Mayhem on the Mountain and then doing the triathlon, I instantly committed to being that person. Mm-hmm. And, you know, doing hard work is hard, and chasing your dreams can be lonely, and being uncomfortable is scary. Mm-hmm. But here at OxFit, Aunt reminded me in those moments that you can do hard, uncomfortable things. And you made that decision to make those changes, and why are you going to go back? Because what you were doing before wasn't serving you. Mm-hmm. And so now you just have to stay positive and stay consistent and keep pushing. And the whole time I was doing that triathlon, I cried a couple times, cried on the bike, definitely cried on the run because I was out there by myself for the entire 6 miles. And I remember thinking, don't quit, because, you know, you could quit. You really could quit. Anybody could quit. And no one would care. Mm-hmm. I'm sure no one would have cared. But I would remember that for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. You couldn't finish that triathlon. Or you're like, someone asks you about doing the triathlon. Oh, well, I didn't finish. No. I had to prove to myself in those moments that I could do hard, uncomfortable things. It was hot out there. Mm-hmm. People are driving past me waving. Yeah. With their bikes, they're leaving the triathlon.
Yeah, people that had already finished, got their medal, got their water, got in their car, and left. Yeah. Were
honking at me, waving out the windows, cheering me on. Yeah. And I'm just running. Mm-hmm. Running back. And I remember telling myself every time, I was like, all right, just run to this marker. Stop for a second. I'd walk. I'd run to this marker. And I hit the last mile marker, the water station. And I could see the hotel where the finish line was going to be. I thought of you guys instantly, because you really are the sum of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. And I know Aunt has said that probably, I know, in this podcast before. But it really is true, because in my mind, I saw you guys there at the end, and I was like, you are going to sprint this last mile. You know that you can do it. And I took a deep breath, chugged. I had Powerade in one hand, water in the other, drank the Powerade, threw the water on myself, and I was like, let's go. And I just took off. Mm-hmm. And I remember turning the corner, and I could hear you guys screaming my name. Oh, it makes me kind of emotional right now, actually. I remember you guys screaming my name, and I was like, go. Just go. I pushed even harder and ran so hard across that finish line. I was the third to last person. There were 2 people behind me to finish the triathlon, but I fucking did it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Insane.
Yeah.
Still can't, I still laugh when I think about that. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do the Olympic. I didn't do the sprint. I didn't do the, duathlon. Mm-hmm. I just go big and go home.
Yeah. Man, that's what it's all about. And I think that, it all comes down to, like you said, being committed to what your goal is. Mm-hmm. And, sitting in whatever discomfort you have to go through and just putting your head down and trying to work towards, something that you really want to achieve for yourself, not for anyone else, but for you.
You have to ask yourself, though, it's like, where would you be right now if you actually did everything you said you were going to do? That you committed to being that person? Think of all the things that you would have done, you would have achieved. Mm-hmm. But you let fear hold you back. Fear of the unknown, fear of, what life would be like. Maybe you have to give something up, change something. But when you change things inside of you, things around you change.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the biggest mistake that people make whenever they want to achieve something. They, are, like you said, what if they did everything they said they were going to do? Well, said is the key word. Because if you want to achieve any goal, the worst thing you can do is say it out loud, is to proclaim it to people. Yes. And doing that creates such a false sense of completeness, and you get this sense of satisfaction from the act of telling people what you're going to do, because that in itself is tricking your brain into thinking that you've done something. Well, you haven't done anything. If you want to achieve your goals, you have to know in your heart that that's what you want to do, and every day you have to wake up and ask yourself, is what I'm doing today going to get me closer to that goal? Not, oh, who am I going to tell today, what my goal is? And I think so often people like to turn to social media or their friends and say, I'm telling you I'm going to do this because it's going to hold me accountable. Well, no, you've already tricked your brain into thinking that you've done something by doing that. And I look back at this past year and all of the amazing things that we've accomplished, and I didn't know your goal was to run the triathlon. I knew you signed up for it. I didn't know how much it meant to you, or that you were scared, or that you were training for it. And even our goals now that you and I set together with a very small team here at OxFit, our close friends that we train and work with every day, those people kind of know my goals, but at the end of the day, they still don't really. So I want to challenge us to continue to don't proclaim what your goals are. Like, we're going to show up every day and we're going to bust our ass and we're going to work hard to get better, because we do have things we want to achieve, but I don't need to let everyone know what that is.
It's true. And, since we're all always working towards something, having that team and that support is where, I don't need to be like, Savannah, I'm going to do this. And of course you get that dopamine rush and it's like, oh, feel good. You tell me, oh, you can do it,
that's
Caitlin.
Amazing.
That's all.
I can't believe you're going to do that. Can't believe it.
Right?
All she did was say something.
Exactly. And so being able to have your own goals, but being surrounded by a team of people that also have goals. Yeah. They might not be the same. Maybe they're the same, but we all get to work together towards achieving our own goals. And sometimes, sometimes we do have similar goals. Like we went and did ACC, which was incredible. And you and I are both running the New York Marathon as well. So we know we're doing those together and we're already working towards those. Yeah. But there's individual goals along the way that we have on our own, that through all the training we get to do together for our similar goals, we will also achieve separately. Right. And I love that.
Yeah. And you can let your actions speak too, because when we're in the gym and I, see, you can tell when you look around who stops a workout around early, who, just doesn't have a certain drive to do something. It's not a bad thing, but now I know what their goal is, or I know what they're working towards. And you can let your actions speak for themselves. You don't need to, convince other people that you're going to do something. You just need to do it.
Right. And a lot of times we say those goals out loud and we tell people and we work towards them for a little bit because you're like, oh, well, I told all these people I'm going to do it. But what ends up happening is a lot of times people end up quitting. Yeah. Because they give up since it's taking too long.
But also now your incentive to achieve a goal is tied to some weird promise you made to someone else and not to satisfying yourself.
No, you're just worrying about what other people think now.
Right. Which is, like you said before, nobody cares.
Nobody cares what you're doing. Work harder.
Yeah. No, it's true. Nobody gives a shit. I mean, I want to see my friends succeed, but whether or not you achieve a goal, I mean, I'll think about it for a minute and then I'll forget. So you do it for you or you don't do it for anyone.
Right. And I get sad sometimes when I do have people who come to me and they tell me a goal. And I've had to get out of the mindset of wanting that goal for somebody else more than they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
And, you can only do so much for people. And when I see, they're just like, oh, well, I got too busy once again, or I didn't have the time, or it got too hard. And I'm like, okay, well, to me, now I see the type of person you really are. Because it really will reveal your character when you have to do something hard.
Yeah. Dang, we're going in on these people.
Look,
I'm not trying to be so mean. I'm just talking, man.
I mean, but that's the thing is, you and I are around each other all the time.
I know.
The team that we're surrounded by, we push each other.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, and not only in work, training, and also our personal lives. We are trying to be the best versions of ourselves at all times.
Yeah. And I think anyone can do it. It's just, and it doesn't have to be, I'm going to run an Olympic triathlon and this. It's just, no. If you want to achieve a goal, first of all, you need to pick something that's actually a goal, not just a task.
Yes.
So pick something that scares you. You might fail. You might fall short. That's fine. Pick something that scares you. And every day, wake up asking yourself, is what I'm doing today going to get me closer to that goal? And if every day the answer is no, maybe the goal is not realistic. Maybe it doesn't fit your life. So you have to find something that is scary to you, that fits your life, that will make you a better person by chasing. And that's it.
Right. Because, you and I have the privilege of working at the gym. So with our goals, we have the opportunity to work out hours a day. So for our fitness goals, that's fitting our lives. Not everyone has that ability to do that. And, I've had someone ask me before, they're trying to make a change. And they asked me, what is it that I should be doing? How long will it take? And what people don't realize is that creating new habits isn't about time. It's actually about repetition. So you need to ask yourself, how many reps will it take for me to achieve this? It's not going to be, I might do it this day, I might do it that day, I do it over a couple months' time. No, I'm doing this every single day. So, you know what? Maybe it might not take you 2 months. Maybe it only takes you a couple weeks. Sometimes, though, it may take you a few months, depending what your goal is. But you cannot be set on time. You're focused on the wrong thing. And a lot of time people are like, well, you don't want to do it that much. How do you expect to make change? Long-lasting change.
Yeah.
And I can say that is what has led me to where I am now, a year and 7 months later. This is why I have achieved the goals that I have. This is why I am living my dream life, my dream job, surrounded by people that I love. And I will continue to achieve the goals that I set for myself because it is something I do every single day.
Yeah, you don't even think about it anymore.
No, I eat at the same times every day, which can be annoying, but I eat at the same times every day. I work out at the same time every day. I'm around the same people every day. I wake up at the same time, even if it's the weekend, every day. Go to bed at the same time every day. This isn't just something that I do on occasion.
Yeah.
It's my life. I feel deep right now.
Yeah. That's what made you beefy.
You know what? And that is...
Now you're beefy.
I know. Actually, Spotify asked you to put your name on there, and I changed it the other day to Beefy.
Yeah, but man, big goals.
We do have goals. And speaking of goals, the triathlon. What are you thinking? Are you going sprint? You going Olympic?
Olympic for sure.
You're doing the damn thing, right?
For sure.
Okay, good.
Gonna do Olympic. Just gonna power through.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna see what happens, and I know it's gonna be great either way. I know I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I know I'm going to finish. Whatever happens other than that is just fine by me.
And I know from experience, you are definitely someone who inspires me with your hard work and everything that you do as well. And it just makes me look forward to also doing the triathlon again this year, because having you by my side pushes me, I mean, in so many ways, more than you know. And just knowing that you'll be in the water with me, on the bike with me, running 6 miles with me, and even in the marathon as well, that's how I know. I already know I'm going to succeed, but I know that it's like, I got my teammate with me. I'm going to crush it even harder than I would have really on my own.
Oh, yeah.
Which I cannot wait. To be at the beach with you, with our crew, with like 20 people.
Yeah. September 9th.
Yeah.
First week of September. But first, we have to crush DEKA. DEKA's coming up August 19th. So, talking about goals, if people want a badass, local, easy to get themselves to fitness challenge, they need to sign up for DEKA Strong. It's 10 stations. It's a ton of fun. If you are currently a member of OxFit, you're more than prepared to complete it, because I've been writing the workouts to have all the movements that are in DEKA. So you've already seen everything, whether you know it or not. And it's also for anyone who just wants a challenge. You don't have to work out here. You don't have to have ever done a DEKA event before. It's going to be a ton of fun, and there's not that many spots left.
No, it's really filling up so fast. I mean, DEKA's ran by Spartan, and I mean, there are people who are professional DEKA athletes. Like, this is what they do, like, around the world. Like, you see the big ones, the DEKA Mile and the DEKA Strong. But what I love about DEKA, and what I keep telling everybody, it is so approachable of a competition. It's not, it's not like CrossFit in the sense of there's going to be heavyweight snatches, overhead work, a lot of gymnastics.
Yeah, anyone can do it. It's nothing to discourage you or deter you from wanting to sign up. So, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see. I know so many people already in the gym have signed up, and I am so pumped to watch crush this competition.
We've got some cool stuff coming up.
Man,
all right.
You just stay doing the cool
I know.
shit, though.
All right, well, good chat. Episode 7, Salt and Beef. Salt and Beef, let's go.